LiveHipHopDaily.tv.
Man, it's your boy Mecca, Cash Color Canvas Podcast, a high level of conversation. We are back on LiveHipHopDaily.tv. Man, oh, my bad. Oh, yips. If y'all don't know, this is live. So Hop was just literally telling me, stop banging on the brand new table, sir. You're making too much noise. So my bad. So I told you I got a new guest in the building, man. We was literally having a nice little hip hop conversation that we will bring on the show eventually, because we're gonna have to get some stuff understood about me and why I didn't understand Nas
Illmatic
and Jay-Z when I was 14. But introduce yourself, brother.
Delleon McGlon.
All right, so I was having struggles with the name. I don't know why. Like, I literally, you saw me do it. I was practicing. I'm like, I got to say it. I'm going to say it right. I'm going to say it right. Then it came time to say your name. I was like, bro, I don't even know who this man is.
After we've been talking for about 40 minutes off air.
Exactly, man. So I appreciate you coming out on the show today. I know I had came in contact with you through my man, Kerry. If y'all don't know.
Shout out to Kerry at Interco.
I was about to say, shout out to Kerry. Interco is a very dope brand. Like, they used to do these really dope marketing events and just yada, yada, yada. But I got a chance to connect with you through Kerry. He was, linked us up and had a chance to speak with you. And you had told me about this app you were working on. And I was like, okay, that would be really interesting to introduce to the audience. So speak to us about the app Bunkir. Like, what is the concept of Bunkir?
So Bunkir is a marijuana app that will allow cannabis enthusiasts to connect, engage, post and share content, and then allow dispensaries to market and sell products directly to that user base.
All right, that's a ill idea, actually.
Oh, in the legalized states. I don't want nobody coming after me. Legalized states only right now.
Hey, let me tell you, man, there's some dudes right now. Atlanta's the city of the hustler. Like, somebody in Atlanta would figure out a way to get their GPS pinpointed to their crib. You know what I'm saying? Like, and now you got mobile dealers, man. But all right, so it's only in legal areas. Again, we got to make that known. So, what made you come up with the app? Like, what made you feel like that was an important thing to come up with?
So, long story short, I'm a huge advocate of the mental health community. I've had my own challenges with mental health, a little bit of depression, anxiety, just things that, people deal with and don't necessarily talk about. And I was actually, my initial idea was working on an app for the mental health community. And while I was doing my customer discovery and competitive analysis, the way I wanted to enter into industry, somebody was already doing it and they kind of had a foothold on it. So being in the military, I'm in the Georgia National Guard, and I know soldiers who are suffering, who, some who've been overseas, some who just, dealing with other stuff, and you get prescribed certain pills and things of that nature, and it's just not really working, and guys want to turn to marijuana. And so I pretty much just flipped the script and just say, how can I get into this industry and continue to be an advocate for mental health and help my fellow soldiers out as well. I read a really good book. Everyone should read this book. It's by Reginald Lewis. He passed away some years ago. It's called Watch the White Boys Have All the Fun. And while I was doing my research on the marijuana industry and just looking at, who are the leaders as of right now, and it's not us.
Not at all.
But what I know and what we know is that marijuana has always been prohibition for black people, right? But unfortunately, with the way that history has taught us, we've also been the ones to suffer the most because of it. And now with it being legalized, we're not the first adopters to be the thought leaders in the industry, and I wanted to be able to be one of the ones to help change that.
That's major, man. That's major. So so obviously you're pro medical marijuana. You're definitely pro medical marijuana for veterans.
Absolutely.
That's what's. I got a partner, my Brandon Wyatt up in DC. You definitely need to link up with him. He's a huge advocate of that. You know what I'm saying? He'll definitely tell you his background, but he's a huge advocate of that. Okay. All right, so Bunkir is a really cool idea, but in the world that we live in now, especially technology moves really fast.
Right.
So at what chance will we actually be able to see or actually use Bunkir? You know what I'm saying? Like, we'll be able to get it in the next couple of months or so, or will we have to wait a year and then possibly somebody come and sneak in under you?
No, we won't have to wait a year. It's actually in the design phase now. Okay. And my goal is to launch it in the end of March, the beginning of April, definitely before 420. So that's really the goal of it. I'm not really worried about competitors coming in because I haven't given away my actual MVP of the product yet. For those who don't know what MVP is your most valuable product. So I haven't really given that part away. And it's not about being first. It's about being a fast follower for me.
Okay.
we remember Black Planet. We remember MySpace.
Black Voices chat room was lit.
Right? but they're not around anymore. And Facebook has managed to withstand the test of time. Instagram has managed to withstand the test of time. Snapchat.
Yeah.
You know, Facebook tried to buy Snapchat, and now Snapchat's worth $16 billion and getting ready to IPO. So, like I said, it's not about being first, about being the fast follower. I get to actually see the mistakes that some of my competitors have made. Yeah. And being able to make sure that I don't make those mistakes.
Okay. Have you had a chance to actually check out any other apps, or have you had a chance to check out any like what you would consider your competition? Like, I don't want to. Well, Weed Maps or anybody like that. Like, have
absolutely. I've checked them all out. There's one in particular that's kind of leading the pack right now, and that's the one I got my eyes set on overtaking. Okay. I won't get on too much shine, but just understanding, you know, like I said, I've been able to see what's been done right and what's been done wrong, and kind of mitigating some of those challenges. For me, I plan on bootstrapping my company. I'm not really looking for venture capital. Okay. And the main reason for that is there have been tech companies led by African Americans who've hit all the check boxes that VCs are looking for, and they've still gotten passed over. So my plan is to pretty much bootstrap it and to enter pitch competitions and to win money. I'm not really worried about placing first and getting VC capital. It's about more, for me, it's more about the brand exposure and making sure that my users are being catered to the best of my ability. When I first moved to Atlanta back in 2011, I've been coming here since 99. But when I first moved here in 2011, I had the opportunity to work for Chick-fil-A for 2 years. And if anybody knows anything about Chick-fil-A, it is customer service driven. And as long as you're taking care of your customers, in this case, your user base, everything else will pretty much work itself out.
That's what's up, man. It sounds like you got a sound plan here, and you ready for action. You say it's going to be ready, hopefully around 420.
It'll definitely be out by April. I had the benefit of being a product manager and the head of business development at a company called Mobile App Hero, where we actually make apps for customers. So I'm doing the design myself. I'm doing the development myself, which is the actual coding.
That's major.
I learned how to code last year, the programming language Swift for iOS. So I had the benefit of having the right team around me. So the things that I don't know, my boss is not even my boss. He's more like my mentor. He's big homie for real. So like I said, the steps, I had the benefit of having somewhere to kind of guide me and to kind of help me along the way that a lot of people can't say that they have. Yeah. And I took the risk of like investing in myself. Like, coding school was not free. I took out a loan to learn how to code. I actually was working at a coding school, left that coding school after 3 months, chilled out for a minute to get myself back together, and then I went and learned how to code. So my very first investment in getting into the tech industry outside of the military, because I'm a geospatial engineer, which is just a fancy word of saying a map maker. But I mean, it's, in all seriousness, that's really what it is, just a fancy word of saying that you know how to make a map.
Okay, I don't want to interrupt you. But it's a fancy way of saying you make maps, right? Yeah. Is the world flat or round?
It's whatever you want it to be.
Because the minute you said that, I was thinking of somebody, and I'm like, bro, if he watching, we got to have this conversation. Is the world flat or round from a person who is a fancy word for a map maker?
If you're making a map, it's flat.
Clearly, right? But if you're making a globe,
it's round.
All right, got you. All right,
but like I said, I the very first step I took was, investing in myself, and I would advocate for anybody that wants to get into the tech industry or that wants to, long term be an entrepreneur, be their own boss, however they see fit. But you have to take the challenge of investing in yourself. Yeah,
I totally agree with that, man. So it's great to hear that you took that investment, especially coding. Like that sounds like, I know it's complex, but just you walking through the steps lets me know it's more complex than doing it on MySpace.
It's not easy, but at the same time, it's like, I'm math dyslexic. I got ADHD, and I've managed to figure it out to some degree. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And the biggest thing in the tech industry that I didn't really understand going in, and that was hard for me to accept, is that failure is expected. Yeah. Like, it's the one industry where you're supposed to make something, break it, screw it up, come back stronger, do it all over again. Yeah. And you're supposed to ask for help 1,000 times over. Like, kind of like how we grew up in the inner city, is like, you don't ask for help. You kind of got to figure it out on your own.
Yeah, of course. Life of the hustle.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if you fail, that means you're like stuck around the way. You haven't made it out or something like that. So that was some of the challenges that I had early on when I first got into the industry. But once I really much learned, like there's to some degree there's a science to this.
Yeah.
It's kind of made the process easier.
That's what it is, man. It's really dope to see a person of color having these conversations. You know what I'm saying? Because I was just thinking, not only do we have a dearth of technology or tech people coming over here, as far as I can see. You know, I'm not gonna say that we're not having any as far as in the cannabis industry, but I know we're not having any people of color. You know what I'm saying, coming through, and I think that's very important that we're seeing people again branch out from just thinking I could have a dispensary or I could have a strain. Like there's several different ways you can do this. Like your background is in tech. Like you actually have a job where you're making these apps, and you decided to take this talent over here.
Yeah, I think we're moving into the industry. I just don't think we're moving fast enough. And some of the challenges are just the stigma and the history that we as a people, as African Americans, have had to endure in the industry. And the more that you educate yourself, the more that you seek out resources and support, you'll find that it's not as challenging as we think it is to get in.
Yeah, no.
You know, I know some states are trying to screw us over by saying, you know, you got to have $100,000 in liquid assets, or you have to have $250,000 to qualify for licenses, or this, that, and the other thing. You can't be behind on your child support. They're trying to stigmatize the ways to keep us out, but the one thing that you can't keep us out of is innovation. You can't keep us out of technology.
Say it, man. Say it.
You know what I'm saying?
You can't stop somebody from being creative.
You absolutely can. Like I'm building it right now in a state where it's not legal, but I'm not going to be selling it in a state where it's not legal.
Yeah, I feel you.
So, you know, I'm making sure that I'm protecting myself. I'm making sure that I'm educating myself.
Yeah.
And understanding what's going on. Like, you know, like we was just briefly talking about, why should white boys have all the fun? Look at what's going on in Rome. Do as the Romans do, just don't become Roman. So what I mean by that is, you know, look at the system that's in place.
Yeah, man.
Infiltrate that system. Make yourself knowledgeable of that system, but don't become a sellout to that system.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's really what it is, and it gets to the point where we really don't have excuses because you have YouTube, you have Google. You know, you just start putting in certain words and certain things start popping up, and just start educating yourself. You know, we can't just we're 80% of the users of all social media. Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, you name it. African Americans and Latinos.
Really?
We make up 80%.
80% of social media users.
Of all social media users. But we are none of the founders. We're none of the CEOs.
Say that again.
We're none of the founders and we're none of the CEOs.
We looking at you serious with that, because that's something that never even dawned on me. That one, we're 80% of the users of all these platforms, but there is not a single one of us that you know what I mean.
But
and that's crazy.
There are a lot of us that are starting to kill the industry in other ways. There's a young lady who I had the opportunity to meet one time. Her name is Jewel Burke. She has a company called Part Pick, where you literally take a picture of like a nut bolt, and it'll tell you what the serial number is and what that item is called, what that item's title is. It's another brother named Barry. I think it's Barry Gibbons. I apologize if I'm jacking up his name, but he has a company called Monosaur, where it's like a mobile drink company. Another brother named Frederick Hudson. This brother spent 54 months in federal prison. Started a company called Pigeonly, which he came up with while he was locked up. And what it does is it lets you send letters and pictures to federal inmates, and they keep up with the database. So you know when you get moved around, your family and friends
you won't lose them. You won't lose them. Okay, that makes sense.
And they started out just by they just started doing state, and now they're doing state and started out doing federal, but now they're doing federal and state.
Bro, that's
so they keep up with those keep up with the database. So it's a lot of us doing a lot of dope things.
That's dope.
It's just about, you know, the more exposure, especially to exposing it to young people, so that they can see it's more of us that are doing these things and becoming game changers. And, you know, like I said, two things you can't stop: innovation and technology.
Hey, that's 100, man. So we gonna take a quick break. We gonna step up with my man Doo-Wop. He got a video called Get Rich. Shout out to my homies over there, Precise Ears, for sending this over. So we're going to check his video out. And we're going to come back. We're going to talk a little bit more about his app. And then we're going to discuss this rap stuff, man, because we was talking about Illmatic. And I'm trying to tell you that album was way over my head when I was young, way over my head. So check out Doo-Wop's new video, Get Rich. We're going to be back. Live hiphopdaily.tv, Cash Color Cannabis, higher level of conversation. All right, so we back. Mecca, Cash Color Cannabis Podcast, live hiphopdaily.tv.
What's
high
my name?
level of
What's my name?
Delleon McGlon.
McGlon.
So I'm getting closer though.
Every time it gets a little bit closer.
Hey, yo,
as long as you don't say Mac,
Yeah.
there's no M. Like people say McDonald's,
Yeah.
and it's MC. It's McGlon. There's no A in between the A and the C.
Hey, keep it real. Black people say McDonald's. that's
McDonald's, McDowell.
Yeah, man. They got the golden arches. We got the golden arch. All right, brother, man. So for those who haven't known, he came. This is my man Delleon. He has a dope app called
Bunkir.
Bunkir. Excuse me, called
Coming out in
Bunkir.
April.
Coming out in April. So he was talking about the app and talking about why it's important and how it actually operates. What are some of your favorite apps? Like, what are the apps that you actually check out?
My absolute favorite app is Yahoo Finance. And seriously, growing up, I wasn't really financially literate. Like, my mother always worked 2 jobs. I always saw her work and I always saw her paying bills.
Yeah.
But she didn't teach me financial literacy. It just wasn't a strong suit. Not that, she did something wrong, but as I got older and you become an adult, you start dealing with money. You have your own family, you're dealing with money. The more I started to read and research, like I said, like, we don't have any excuses at this point because those tools are out there. The more you start reading and researching, you just find ways to Donald Trump the system. as they like to say. So Yahoo Finance. Okay. Of course, Instagram, like everybody else. What's another one that I like?
Are you what do you favor? Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter? If you're trying to be social, I guess.
Twitter for my news.
Okay.
Instagram, I like to follow a lot of people who are doing well successfully. I don't really follow just the random Joe Blow posting any old BS or whatever. I like to follow successful people, kind of take some of their habits and things like that. Matter of fact, I'll tell you one that I've done.
That's funny. You got quality control for your followers.
Mark Cuban posted about buying your household items in bulk, like your toothpaste, your soap, your dishwashing detergent, and I literally started doing that.
Did you save money?
Yes, I probably say I'm saving like 30%, and I buy my stuff from like Family Dollar, the Dollar Tree. Yeah, I'm giving them shout out right now, whatever.
Hey, one day they might give you a check for that shout out,
right? But in all seriousness, I'll do whatever I got to do to save. I got a household to provide for. So
true that, man. All right, so before we actually got started with the show, we was talking off air, so I got a chance to get to know you from South Philly, born and raised.
I'm from West Philly. Oh my God!
I thought you said South Philly.
I said West Philadelphia.
Oh my bad.
And then he was getting ready to go into the Fresh Prince.
I was about to sing the Fresh Prince thing.
And the Fresh Prince thing they don't even say nothing about South Philly.
Look, I was about to ad-lib it. So I'm glad you caught me, man. So I know you from Philly, man.
It's all good. It's Philadelphia love, no matter how you look at it.
You definitely a rap head, man. We was over here talking about some albums that changed our lives. You mentioned Nas's Illmatic was meant something to you.
Yeah, Illmatic, man. That was literally the soundtrack of my childhood. Somebody was literally rapping about either things I was experiencing, things my friends were experiencing, things I was seeing going on around me, and just music connects with us on so many different levels and so many different ways. It was just like, for me, like, that was the artist that I was just like, wow, like, this guy he really gets it. He gets me. And then you look at, like, Jay came out Reasonable Doubt, Big came out with Ready to Die, and those projects to me were just a little bit over the top.
Really?
Just from the standpoint of I just couldn't connect.
Got it.
I just couldn't. The things Big was rapping about, it was just like the over the top drug dealer gangster, and Jay, his was just so intricate for me, and it just wasn't the things that I was experiencing. It was more the things like the old heads and the OGs in my neighborhood who was living that life. Like, to them, that was their guy.
Yeah.
And it actually was a person that certain people would tell me, like, yo, I seen him in Atlantic City. He's really talking about what he's living, because that's the era that I come from, where if you could, especially in Philly, like,
there ain't no pump faking.
Yeah, you can't talk about what you didn't come from, because someone's gonna check you. You can't say you was in jail, because someone's gonna say, yo, I was in jail and you wasn't there. You can't say you was running this corner, because people in them corners is really gonna be like,
where you was at.
Yeah, where you was at.
I definitely feel you, man. Because we was talking and we the same age, so we was really having this conversation from a point of view. Because when you told me that
Products
Nas,
of the Reagan era,
really, really, man, still suffering from that ADHD, man. But so Nas was your man. Illmatic was your album.
Yeah.
I told you Illmatic was over my head. Like I didn't get what Nas was talking about. Like I remember, so I'm from Boston. I remember sitting on the 28 going through Roxbury back to Mattapan and listening to Nas's album on the bus. And just listening to it and being like bobbing my head like yeah. And I remember getting off the bus, taking my headphones off and say I don't know what he was talking about.
Illmatic and Raekwon, the Purple Tape.
Purple Tape is something else, man.
The Purple Tape was literally like walking out my crib, walking past the projects, and that was the Purple Tape. Like the things he was rapping about on the Purple Tape, like that was like right around the corner. Where Nas was like on my stoop, the Purple Tape was around the corner.
See, and I feel you. Like I was a huge fan even early of Jay. Like I like Jay. I like Reasonable Doubt. And I tell folks, man, like you can't never tell me that rap don't make you do stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like I remember listening to Reasonable Doubt, and I still tell people to this day, listening to Can't Knock the Hustle. I'm making short-term goals when the weather falls, put away the leather and put ice on the gold. I used to play ball back then. I remember I had a little 10-karat gold chain, had the basketball hoop on it, right? I was every kid in the hood at that moment, right? I heard that line and walk around my house with it, playing it over, and I'm trying to rewind because I had the cassette, so I'm trying to make it, get right to the point where I heard it. He came back again. I'm making short-term goals when the weather falls, put away the leather and put ice on the gold. I took my chain off my neck, opened the freezer, and put it on a box of ice. Because I was like, yo, if Jay said put your shit on ice, I'm putting my shit on ice right now because I watch his videos. His shit be shining. So I came back 10 minutes later, took my chain out. I was like, yo, it is shining. Put it on, walked outside, and literally the heat from outside broke that 10-karat chain. Like it fell right off my neck. And I'm sitting there with a broke chain, still listening to Jay-Z like, all right, so maybe I need a thicker chain. That's all I could think of at that moment. I need a thicker chain because it can't be that it's not what he's saying ain't gospel. It ain't you got to put ice on this. So I'm saying like that was my thing. Like Hov was my dude. Nas, I couldn't get Nas to like maybe. I'm talking about college. Like
I also remember when Doggy Style came out. Like I was in 8th grade when Doggy Style came out.
I swore I was slim with the tilted brim. Don't play me.
Right, it came out around Christmas.
Yeah,
and everybody in school bought the tape to give to each other as their Secret Santa gift.
School you went to, man? You went to the best school, bro. It was giving out Snoop tapes for Christmas.
Like straight up, that's literally what we did. I mean, like the whole class had it, and we was rapping the lyrics, the whole nine. And teachers like, nah, don't bring this back to school. Teachers was like, yo, we don't bring. They literally like sent home like letters saying, do not return. Let your kid come back to school with this Doggy Style tape. And I remember I played that thing to it pop. Shouts out to Ricky Harris, R.I.P. Like ta-da, like what? And it was on the jukebox network at the time. Straight golden era.
Yeah,
stuff,
we just really went golden era hip hop real quick, man. But I thought it was interesting. I love meeting people who have actual interest in hip hop. So I'm like, we got to talk about this. You was a Nas fan when I wasn't even understanding Nas, but shit, Jay-Z made me throw a chain on ice. So, you know what I'm saying? So everybody a little different, man. All right, so circling back again to the Bunkir app, man.
Right.
What made you come up with the name? Like, where Bunkir come from?
Okay, so back in 2012 when I joined the military, they sent me to two places. They sent me to Fort Jackson, South Carolina, where it was pretty warm till about the end. Then they sent me to Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri.
Okay.
Didn't know anything about it. Once I got there, the average temperature was like -7 degrees. Like, I bullshit you not. 4 o'clock in the morning, we were outside. So there were 4 companies and there are 2 bunkers. So if you got to the bunker, you had PT inside.
Yeah.
If you didn't, you had PT outside.
Outside was cold.
So bunker is a safety place. Bunker is your safe haven. Bunker allows you to, do what you need to do under the safety and confines of your environment. Yeah. So that's where I came up with the name from. Got you.
All right, well, so if you are in a legal state, if you are in a state that allows you to, to actually purchase cannabis, your app is going to actually be perfect for you to be to have a safe haven to find that and a safe way to find that.
Yeah, and to connect with other users, other enthusiasts, whether it's just to share ideas, whether it's to connect and do certain things and talk that cannabis talk.
All right, man. So what are your goals this year for the app? Like, what are some of the benchmarks you feel like you want to hit?
Obviously getting it out available for download. Yeah. Obviously that's number one. Number two, to scale the company to where it's profitable in its first year. The average company fails in the first 18 to 24 months. I feel like if I go at the pace that's best for me, that I can scale the company without having some of the misses that some of my predecessors had.
I feel you.
And really just, getting the exposure for the product. That's really what it's about for me, and making sure that I'm maintaining the users that I attract.
That's what's up, man. Well, I told you, I definitely think the app is worthwhile, and I have friends, I feel like, in areas where this could actually work. I would love to introduce them, as far as introduce you to them, and hopefully they could be a beta tester for you, man, and see how this works. Definitely see how this works. All right, so we do need to see more people of color get involved here. It's definitely on the tech side. Do you have any plans as far as yourself, just kind of being that outreach and trying to bring some of your own people in, or say, how do you see that? Because we definitely do need to get more people of color involved on the tech side.
I'm definitely a proponent of championing others. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a firm believer in what God has for me, He has for me, and me, cheerleading someone else's company or campaign doesn't take away from my success.
Not at all, man.
I don't think that we do it enough. So for me, yeah, I'm all, if someone has a question, they can hit me up on Twitter. Okay. Delleon McGlon.
McGlon.
DELLEON MCGLONE. Like I said, I'm nothing but a tweet away. Whoever wants to connect.
Got you, man. Shout out to Kerry. I'm sitting here talking to you, and I realize between you and Kerry, I use marketing terms now when I talk. I say benchmarks, and you know what I mean, and stuff like that, man. So shout out to y'all, man. Shout out to
Kerry and Antico. Yeah. He's a good brother doing a lot of good things. If you need marketing, that's the guy to go to.
That is definitely the guy to go to, man. So we about to check out one last video, and we're gonna come back to my man. We're gonna pull up with DB the Rasta, Angels and Demons. Shout out to DB, man. I missed you when you was at the Bargain one time, man. But I know I'm gonna get a chance to catch you live one day. So check out DB the Roster, Angels and Demons. That's coming on next, and then we're gonna be back and we're gonna wrap it up. Cash Color Cannabis Podcast, live hiphopdaily.tv, a high level of conversation.